about Gemini's mythos. Before we move on to mythos, I would like to mention a few lines from Plato's book Symposium, because it tells us something about the Gemini archetype. Everyone seeks their opposite, not their like. Dry seeks moist, cold seeks warm, bitter seeks sweet, dull seeks sharp, hollow seeks full, and full seeks hollow, because everything feeds off of its opposite. Gemini is the sign of duality. What his right hand wants, the left hand does not want. It stays between reason and emotion. Gemini is torn between two things and wants to have both. The ruling planet of Gemini is Mercury. Mercury is referred to as Mercury in Roman mythology and Hermes in Greek mythology. In the mythos of Hermes, Hermes acts as he was born. Now, when we look at the behavior of the Geminis, they are restless, very fidgety. Gemini likes to be on the move, mobile. After walking for a while, Hermes stops on the road. A tortoise stops him. He picks up the tortoise, and he twists and turns it, and after playing with it for a while, he gets bored with it and hollows it out. After he hollowed it out, he made a lyre out of its intestines and started playing it very beautifully. When we look at this part of the mythos again, we can see the patterns of the Gemini. Curiosity stops the Gemini. He usually proceeds in life by following the path of curiosity. What will interest him is something he has not heard before, something that will make him curious. He gets bored after he gets his hands on tortoise. Gemini also gets bored of something very quickly. They have concentration problems. And when he gets bored after taking it, he may kill that creature. Killing here does not mean that he is a murderer. It just means that he is prone to lose touch with his emotions. If he is bored, if he doesn't want to stay there, only because he has developed emotional attachments. And making a lyre out of his intestines expresses his artistic side. In other words, Gemini's emotionality, which has remained in the background, emerges with its artistic side. You can come across many Gemini artists. When we continue again, Hermes is hungry, and when he is hungry, he sees Apollo's 50 cattle and steals 2 of them. Now, of course, the act of stealing, being a thief, yes, many things can be talked about here. Gemini does what he has to do within the framework of logic. He does not observe any moral boundaries. If he is hungry at that moment, he has to feed himself. And of course, he steals by telling to an elderly person there, and he says, "Don't tell anybody that I have stolen." Because Gemini is very good at thinking quickly and doing what will somehow to save him in the best way. He is very flexible. He can maneuver easily in life. Of course, this flexibility can help him in many aspects of life. But being flexible in many ways can also leave him behind in facing problems. When we continue again, Apollo finds out who stole the cattle. The mythos of Hermes continues by being judged in front of the Olympus gods. Hermes says, "Yes, I admit that I stole, but the question is, why did I steal?" "Why did you steal?" asks Zeus, the god of gods. "Because I stole it, sir. Because I stole it for you too. Because I was going to share it with you." He suddenly wins the hearts of everyone. Gemini really do have the devil's hair. They can easily charm those around them. He can know how to impress you by giving you the answers that you want, and he can get the result he wants. Hermes is then commissioned by Zeus as the messenger of the gods. He can fly very fast with that helmet on his head and those wings on his feet. Behind the Geminis, fast behavior and fast movements, the event we call speed is actually related to the Gemini. So Gemini is the god of communication and messenger. Actually, Gemini's people love to talk too much. Sometimes he may not hear the other side because he is self-focused. This is one of its shadow aspects. When he is too much related to the mind, it can put its emotions in the background. He may try to explain his emotions with reason, but emotions are not things that can be explained by logic. They are just felt. And at this point, he can also attract people who has very intense feelings, because the side that he does not accept comes to him from the other side. He recognizes himself in that way. He learns himself in that way. When we continue again in this myth about Apollo and Hermes, we see an exchange of the two. The fact that Apollo gives Hermes the lyre he made from the tortoise, and that Apollo gives his scepter to Hermes, it is also part of the mythos. This exchange can later manifest itself as trade. In other words, the Gemini interest in trade, their interest in exchanging words, the fact that they can easily converse with everyone, all young to old, the fact that they can exist in every environment without feeling alienated. This story is quite enlightening about the abilities of Gemini. Gemini is a zodiac sign that is restless. As I said, with its restless, agile intelligence and cheerful demeanor, he really attracts people with its devil's feather. But as I said, the side that it has to face is its shadow side, its emotions, its feelings. He stays between light and darkness, between emotion and thought, and he usually chooses reason, he chooses thought. Maybe the most important point of being human is feeling and emotion, but what he feels is not more important than what he thinks. What he thinks is more important. In his spiritual journey, it is very important to combine these two. Yes, no matter what happens in the end, Gemini does not neglect to be one of the most cheerful signs of zodiac. That's all about the Gemini for today. In the next video, we will be talking about other signs and mythos.